The Invisible Revolution: How Black Women Entrepreneurs Are Reshaping America's Economy Against All Odds. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I'm truly honored to stand before you to share some extraordinary insights I gained from my recent interview with Cassandra Henry on the Soft Girl Era podcast. Cassandra is not just a remarkable advocate for Black women entrepreneurs, she's a visionary who has fundamentally transformed how we understand the intersection of race, gender, and economic power in America. Her tireless work has created platforms where Black women can authentically share their business journeys, illuminating paths that were previously hidden in shadow. Through her advocacy, countless women have found their voices, launched their dreams, and begun reshaping our economic landscape in ways that challenge everything we thought we knew about entrepreneurship. What Cassandra shared with me wasn't just information, it was revelation. And today, I want to take you on a journey that will challenge your most fundamental assumptions about entrepreneurship, success, and the economic landscape we all inhabit. We love to believe that entrepreneurship is the great equalizer, the ultimate meritocracy where good ideas and hard work inevitably lead to success. We celebrate stories of self made business owners who started with nothing but determination and built empires. These narratives comfort us. They reinforce our belief in a fair system where talent rises to the top. But what if I told you that for a significant group of entrepreneurs, the playing field isn't just uneven, it's an entirely different game with different rules, different obstacles, and different measures of success? Let me share something that shocked me during my conversation with Cassandra. Black women are among the fastest growing groups of entrepreneurs in the United States, making up 28% of all Black entrepreneurs. That sounds impressive, right? A success story worth celebrating. But here's the devastating reality: only 15% of these businesses report making a profit. Let that sink in for a moment. This stark contrast challenges everything we think we know about entrepreneurial success. It reveals that determination and business acumen, which Black women clearly possess in abundance, are not always enough to overcome systemic barriers. Here's another surprising fact: women of color comprise only 39% of the female population in the United States, yet they account for an astonishing 89% of new female owned businesses launched daily. This entrepreneurial spirit persists despite Black women experiencing the highest job loss rate among all workers, with 106,000 jobs lost in April 2025 alone, pushing their unemployment rate to 6.1%, nearly double the rate for white women. These aren't just statistics, they're evidence of both extraordinary resilience and profound injustice. They tell a story that contradicts our comfortable narratives about entrepreneurship and success. So, today I want to explore three key insights from my conversation with Cassandra that help explain this contradiction, and more importantly, reveal the tremendous untapped potential that exists if we address these disparities. The first insight is what Cassandra calls the funding gap reality. Black women entrepreneurs face a severe funding disparity that fundamentally limits their business growth potential. Women led businesses receive only 7% of global venture capital, and in low and middle income countries, they are 30% less likely to secure funding than their male counterparts. When they do receive funding, they often face smaller loans with higher interest rates. I want you to imagine starting a race where everyone else gets a head start, or wears professional running gear, and has coaches cheering them on while you're in street clothes, starting blocks behind with weights on your ankles. That's the reality for Black women entrepreneurs seeking funding. Let me share a story Cassandra told me about Be Peace, an organization that implemented targeted programs to help women entrepreneurs overcome these funding barriers. Their 2023 data showed something remarkable. Women led businesses in their portfolio secured 55% of the total investment raised when given equal opportunity and support. But even within these supportive programs, significant disparities remained. The median funding amount for women led businesses was just $105,000 compared to $204,000 for all businesses. This highlights how deeply entrenched these biases are, even in environments specifically designed to be equitable. Yet, despite receiving less than their fair share of funding, businesses owned by women of color have grown at a remarkable rate of 163%, demonstrating extraordinary efficiency in utilizing limited capital. These entrepreneurs aren't just surviving, they're innovating with fewer resources, creating more with less, and demonstrating exceptional business acumen under constraints that would cripple many other businesses. Imagine what could be possible if funding were distributed equitably. We're not just talking about fairness, we're talking about unleashing economic potential that could transform communities, create jobs, and generate wealth on an unprecedented scale. The second key insight from my conversation with Cassandra is what she calls the double burden effect. Black women entrepreneurs must navigate both racial and gender discrimination simultaneously, creating unique challenges not faced by other groups. This isn't theoretical, it's measurable in hard economic data. When the economy falters, Black women are hit first and hardest. In April 2025, when the labor market showed signs of weakness, Black women's unemployment rate jumped to 6.1%, compared to just 3.3% for white women and 4.6% for Hispanic women. This employment vulnerability creates a precarious foundation for entrepreneurship. Many Black women business owners rely on multiple income streams to support their ventures, lacking the financial safety net that more privileged entrepreneurs take for granted. Cassandra shared the story of how Black women entrepreneurs navigated the economic crisis of 2025. As jobs disappeared, many pivoted their business models overnight, creating digital offerings where physical ones had failed, forming supportive networks to share resources, and finding innovative ways to serve their communities despite diminishing resources. Organizations like HBCU Money began tracking these disparities, revealing that Black women's employment had reached a 5 month low, while unemployment hit a 5 month high by April 2025. This wasn't a temporary blip, it was the continuation of long standing systemic issues that disproportionately impact Black women in the labor market. Yet, despite these headwinds, Black women owned businesses continue to represent 21% of all female owned companies in the United States. This isn't just persistence, it's a profound statement about determination, creativity, and vision in the face of adversity. As Maya Angelou once said, you may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. This quote perfectly captures the spirit of resilience I witnessed in the stories Cassandra shared, stories of Black women entrepreneurs who refused to let economic downturns, funding rejections, or societal barriers define their entrepreneurial journeys. The third key insight from my conversation with Cassandra is perhaps the most important: the untapped potential. Despite these challenges, or perhaps because of them, Black women entrepreneurs represent a powerful force for economic growth and innovation. With nearly 6.4 million businesses managed by women of color in the United States, and Black women owned companies accounting for 21% of all female owned businesses, there is enormous untapped potential waiting to be unleashed. But there's another barrier that often goes undiscussed: confidence. Globally, women are 20% less likely than men to feel confident in their business skills, and 40% of women report self doubt as a major barrier to entrepreneurship. For Black women, these confidence barriers are often compounded by racial stereotypes and limited representation in business leadership. Cassandra shared how mentorship programs and networking organizations specifically designed for Black women entrepreneurs have emerged to address these confidence barriers. These initiatives provide both practical skills and psychological support to help overcome self doubt. With targeted support, more Black women have been able to launch and sustain businesses, contributing to the statistic that women of color now account for 89% of new female owned businesses launched daily in the United States. As more Black women succeed in entrepreneurship, they create a virtuous cycle by serving as visible role models for others, gradually helping to close the confidence gap for future generations. I want to share an affirmation that Cassandra mentioned during our interview, one that she encourages all Black women entrepreneurs to repeat daily. I am not just building a business, I am creating a legacy that will transform my community and redefine what's possible for generations to come. This powerful statement reminds us that entrepreneurship for Black women is rarely just about profit, it's about purpose, community, and creating pathways where none existed before. So, where do we go from here? What can we do with these insights? First, we must acknowledge that the entrepreneurial playing field is not level, and pretending otherwise only perpetuates inequality. The data is clear. Black women and entrepreneurs face unique challenges that require targeted solutions. Second, we need to rethink how we measure entrepreneurial success. If businesses owned by women of color can grow at a rate of 163%, despite receiving a fraction of available funding, our traditional metrics of success may be fundamentally flawed. Third, supporting Black women entrepreneurs isn't charity, it's a smart economic investment. The untapped potential represents billions in possible economic growth that benefits everyone. I stand before you today not just to share information, but to ignite action. The statistics I've shared aren't just numbers, they represent real women with real dreams who are reshaping our economy despite systemic barriers designed to exclude them. What would happen if we removed those barriers? Oh, what innovations might emerge? What communities might be transformed? What wealth might be created? I challenge each of you to examine your sphere of influence. If you're an investor, look at your portfolio. How many Black women led businesses have you funded? If you're a business owner, examine your supply chain. Are you supporting Black women entrepreneurs? If you're a consumer, consider where you spend your dollars. Are you investing in these businesses? The revolution happening in entrepreneurship, led by Black women, isn't just changing business, it's changing America. But this revolution needs allies, advocates, and accomplices. As Cassandra so powerfully stated, in the soft girl era, we understand that true power comes not from conforming to systems that weren't built for us, but from creating new ones that honor our full humanity, celebrate our brilliance, and allow us to thrive on our own terms. The question isn't whether Black women entrepreneurs will continue to rise. They will, because they always have. The question is whether we will recognize this invisible revolution for what it is, not just a fight for equality, but a reimagining of what our economy could be if everyone had the opportunity to contribute their full measure of talent and vision. The future of American entrepreneurship is being written right now, often by those with the least access to capital, but the greatest reserves of resilience. Will you be part of this story? The choice is yours. The time is now. Thank you